Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sammy, and in this video I'm going to be giving you 5 tips in writing your dissertation, in particular to those who are studying economics and have an economics dissertation to do. And I feel these tips would have really helped me if I knew beforehand, so I thought I'd just share the love to you guys so you guys can do well. So yeah, let's get into the video.
No style, go check my profile. My lifestyle is so vile. Girl on my mobile, girl from worldwide.
Alright, tip number 1, you want to pick a topic that's been done before. So what I mean by this is you look at relevant research papers and you find a topic that is something similar to what you want to look into, and then you take that research question or the model that they used and you just adjust one variable to make it unique to your study. So that way, you've filled in gaps in the literature, and you've also are doing something unique and will most likely be easy for you to replicate as it's already done before. So it's most likely to be coherent, it's most likely to work, it's most likely to be statistically significant or whatever, as you can compare your results, and yeah, it just makes everything a lot easier. Alright, for tip number 2, I would recommend you look into the references within your references. So what I mean by that is, say you find a paper that you have decided to replicate, or you've decided to essentially use parts from for your literature review, etc. What you do is you look in the references that they've used for their research, and you basically delve into that and build a network of different references that are related to the study that you're doing. So you essentially want to have as many resources as possible that relate to your study, and the best way to do that is to look through the one that you're trying to replicate, or you're the one that is essentially the one that's closest to what you're trying to do. But yeah, that is tip number 2. For tip number 3, I've done a whole video on that. A lot of you probably come to the channel because of this, but if you haven't, I'll make sure I'll link it down below. But yeah, in my literature review video, I was talking about planning, and if you have a rough idea what you want to talk about, it is very important to plan, and in order to save a lot of time. So what I did was I used the color coordinating system. I made my subheadings beforehand. I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about, so when I was reading through the research papers, if I saw any parts that were similar to what was asked in my subheadings, then I would put that down, and I would immediately start to analyze it and critique it, so I could add it into my literature review or in the body of my writing when it comes to the results, etc. So yeah, I feel like it's very important to plan, because that way you can stay ahead of the curve. You won't have to read papers several times. I've gone into more detail about this, as I said, in my literature review video, so make sure you do check that out. For tip number 4, this is for the empirical part of your study. If you're doing economics, you're most likely to do an econometrics portion of your dissertation, which involves modelling and using the statistical data and manipulate them in ways to create an output to show whether your hypotheses are correct or not. So my opinion is very important when you get to this stage is that you look through your data first and you clean it, etc., and then you run tests. Why I suggest to run tests quickly is because you can see if there is statistical significance issues. You can do all the diagnostic testing, etc., beforehand, so it saves you writing up your dissertation, etc., then doing the tests and then realizing your results aren't correct. You need to change your whole test, you need to change variables, etc. So it's better to essentially just do it first and then write about it later, instead of trying to start writing it, building your methodology, etc., and then coming to think, oh, my results aren't statistically significant, or they're not matching up to your hypothesis, etc. as you do want to, you know, achieve a good grade. And I know most lecturers, especially within undergrad, they don't really mind if you have show statistical insignificance. However, obviously it would make it more coherent, it'd make it more accurate if it was, and it just makes it easier read and easier write up for yourself. So I would recommend doing the tests prior to any writing. Just get your data, clean it, run the tests, see what results you get, and then hopefully if it works well you can start writing. If not, you just have to adjust a few things, keep testing it until you get what you want. But yeah, that's my tip number 4. Alright, tip number 5, which is my final tip, which is also to do with the empirical part, and that is to use EViews. So EViews is a statistical package similar to that of Stata and Matlab or R or whatever you're using. The reason why I recommend EViews is that it is noob friendly. Essentially, it requires no coding or, you know, writing different lines of coding in your do files, etc. This is just simple. You put your data sets in, you click a few buttons, you have to write one line of code, which is just your equation, and that's literally all you got to do, and the rest is just buttons. It is so simple to use and it saves so much time. Well, and there's loads of YouTube videos out there that will teach you how to use EViews, and it's honestly so much easier and so much more convenient. And that is my last recommendation, really. Definitely use EViews. It is the best one. I've used it both in my undergrad and my postgrad, and it worked perfectly fine for me. I used in a vector autoregressive model. I've used it for VECM models. I've used it for all the diagnostic testings. I've used it for OLS. I've used literally everything. I've used it for. Whenever I get an econometric assignment, when I use Stata, I just use EViews because honestly it is so much more convenient. So yeah guys, those are my 5 tips. I hope you did enjoy this video. Hope you did find it helpful. I know this would have helped me a lot if I knew this information prior. But yeah guys, I hope to see you again soon. Make sure you do subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye bye.